This broadcast will start in 15 seconds. This broadcast will start in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The Voice of Stockton. For more information on The Voice of Stockton, go to thevoiceofstockton.org.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, The Voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Stockton, California, and I am the president of the Stockton San Joaquin Lions, and I welcome you to be with us today. We've had a couple of days where we weren't here because of holidays, but even though that it is Martin Luther King Day, we still feel that it's important that we are out here talking to you, and especially those of you Lions who are also doing wonderful things in the community and remembering Martin Luther King. So I welcome you today, and today I want to also invite all of you to look at the information that's going below the screen. It tells you exactly where the Stockton San Joaquin Lions Club, we meet once a month on the first Wednesday of the month, and you're invited to come if you'd like, and we hold our meetings at UJ's restaurant, and that's held at 7628 Pacific Avenue here in Stockton, California. And I welcome any of you to come join our club or just come and see what we're doing. It's a great opportunity to get into the community and be doing wonderful things for the community. And that's what we're all about here today also. One of the major things that Lions do worldwide is work with youth and encourage youth to become leaders. And today I have some very special guests from the American Legion Auxiliary, Carl Ross Unit 16 here in Stockton, California. And they're going to be telling you about a wonderful program, the California Girls State program. And for you who are Lions out there, there's a lot of programs that we do where we're supporting youth to become great leaders, like our speaker contest, and the Peace Poster contest that we have internationally, and the speaker contest, student speaker contest, is held here in California by our district here. But the Peace Poster contest is for students 11 to 13 all over the world, and it's a wonderful, wonderful program. So today's program is another youth program that Lions can help and support in your communities. And so I'm going to turn it over to the president of the Carl Ross Unit 16 Women's Auxiliary. And this is Mary Alt.
Hi, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mary. Welcome here. And Mary, can you tell us about the Women's Auxiliary?
Well, first of all, thank you for recognizing Martin Luther King's birthday today. Couldn't think of a better day to be here than on Martin Luther King's birthday. Thank you for mentioning that today.
I'm just going to move this mic right toward you a little bit
there
more.
We go. All right.
Want to make sure everybody hears you good.
Okay. I usually have a pretty good loud voice. Anyway, American Legion Auxiliary Unit 16, we do a lot in the community. It is American Legion Auxiliary, first of all, is the largest patriotic nationwide organization. We're all over the world, and today we're in Stockton, California. And Unit 16.
Now, the auxiliary, just to interrupt you, the auxiliary is the women.
American Legion Auxiliary is the women's group. Most of us are married to veterans, or we have a veteran in our family, historically in our family. We have a husband, a grandfather, a grandmother, any women who have been in the military as well as men. Mm-hmm. And a lot of us found ourselves in the American Legion Auxiliary due to our past experience with having family members in the military. And so we have dedicated ourselves to belong in the American Legion Auxiliary to support our veterans and their families, and make our youth aware of the sacrifices that our veterans have made for us to experience the freedom that we enjoy today.
That's wonderful.
And so, we are very active in the community. We try to involve much of our youth as possible. I could go on. I went month by month. I was trying to think of all the things that American Legion Auxiliary Unit 16 does do, and we are out in the community a lot. And as you know, we are always constantly fundraising because the Post, they just rely on us fundraising. So we reach out to the community for them to have an opportunity to help support our veterans, and their help and their support is by attending our fundraising events, which we have several during the year. So if you'd like me to, the most current fundraiser that's coming up.
Oh, yes, please
I'll tell you about this.
That.
There are many, many, many crab feeds coming up, but ours is the one you want to go to. The crab feed will be held February 16th. It's $45 a person, and all the benefits to the Carl Ross Post, and like I said, sustainability of the Post and funding for whatever events we may have for our veterans and their family and our children. Okay, we're going to give this to Mary. Oh, well, I don't. Okay, it's at the Post, the American Legion Hall, 2020 Plymouth Road, Stockton, California. So that's where our crab feed is going to be. So if you would like tickets to this, call the Carl Ross Post. I'm not going to give my cell phone number over the radio, but for tickets you can call area code 209-463-7982 and just ask for crab feed tickets, and we will be happy to get them to you.
And again, what was that date?
February 16th,
February
Saturday,
16th.
February 16th, for $45 a person. So that's the most current one that's coming up. Of course, we're going to talk about the Girl State Breakfast, the fundraising breakfast in February. The ALA also participates in most of the military appreciation nights held by either the Stockton Heat, which is hockey team,
yes,
and Stockton Ports. They're very good about it. We usually maybe have anywhere between 2 to 4 fundraising events through those sports. We have our big fundraiser in April, which is our tea social, which is a lot of fun, and it's the ladies put these tables together. They're absolutely stunning. Their imagination is beyond compare, and we always enjoy having that. That's always a lot of fun.
They are fun. I've attended them, and they're very, very nice.
And within the community, we go to the Board of Supervisors meeting every year. They recognize our veterans, and I believe it's in May. We go and they recognize all first responders as well as our veterans, and that's always, I wish it was fully attended because we have a lot of veterans that need to be recognized in the city of Stockton. Just from the city of Stockton alone, we have a lot, as you know. And then we go to Delta College. We have a little bonding with them. The Veterans Resource Center at San Joaquin Delta College in Stockton, California. We contribute a monthly stipend to their food pantry. As you know, just because a veteran is going to school doesn't necessarily mean all of their expenses are paid, even though they are getting money to go to school. Sometimes they're still running around very hungry, and so we help with their food. We recognize that need by talking to the Veterans Resource Center, and we contribute a modest stipend every month to help them with their little goodies and little snacks in their food pantry, as well as sometimes we'll offer them maybe 2 home-cooked meals a year. They love it when we come in with our food. They think it's great. And we have established a good rapport with them. And someday when they're eligible, or when they get out of school, or when they maybe even leave the city, if they can join another post and contribute to that post, because they're going to remember what ALD did for them when they were at San Joaquin Delta College. Definitely. So we enjoy we also have a scholarship that we offer to female veterans. It's a $200 scholarship just specifically for a female veteran. We offer that once a year. And we also have we go to their graduation exercises as well. And Memorial Day service, of course, we always participate in the flag laying at the rural cemetery. We have a lot of us ALM members go, as well as the Legionnaires, as well as our grandkids and anybody else we can encourage to attend to put the flags down on our deceased veterans. And children really don't think of it as being a morbid experience. I know my grandkids now who are 9 and they're going to kill me, 10 and 11. They enjoyed the experience, and they really become aware of the sacrifices that these men and women have made for their country and for their freedom, and they find it a privilege to be a part of this service for our veterans who are now deceased.
Well, that type of an event and the children being able to see that is absolutely wonderful, because most of our children are not taught about being a volunteer or even knowing what a veteran is or anything about any of our wars or anything in school. So what you're doing is a wonderful educational experience for the kids.
It is, and I think you'll find that either children or grandchildren of members of American Legion Auxiliary or Legionnaires, they know more information than the ordinary child who does not have that family military background. And because their grandpa is USMC combat wounded, they know what he experienced over there, and they're very sympathetic and empathetic, not only to their grandpa, but any veteran that they meet. If they go to the post, my grandson will go up and shake hands with a veteran and thank them for their service. And this is a little boy, but because he knows, we want to bring that awareness to all our youth. All of our youth, they've got to recognize and learn how the respect that and acknowledge our veterans that they deserve in the community or anywhere they go.
Now, to jump ahead here a little bit, I understand that the Vietnam Moving Wall is coming back. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
I can tell you a little bit about it. I think that's mostly going to come from the experts in the field, which would be Linda Vasquez or Kevin Dobson. But it is coming back. We had it in 2016, and we're excited to be the caretakers of the Moving Vietnam Wall again. In 2016, it was overwhelming. It was very overwhelming for all of us that worked on it. Anywhere from washing down each individual panel to looking up friends of mine, 3 high school graduates from Stagg High School, class of 67, who passed away over there in Vietnam, looking them up and feeling their presence again, seeing the veterans who walked through there, having a really hard time going through, looking at that wall, starting with my husband.
I know we had Lions clubs were there and participating. I was participating on the information table.
Yes.
And like you're telling, there's a huge book where it has all the names of the veterans and that are on the wall and where they're located. And so people will come to the information table and say, can you tell me where my friend is or my father is or where? And that was my first experience with the Moving Wall. And it was first experience actually volunteering to help people find their loved ones or friends. And it was very emotional. But it was so good. So very, very good, and so good for the people who came, and there were a lot of kids there too.
Yeah, my 18-year-old grandson was sitting at your table. He was helping. Justin was there as well.
Right.
Yeah, it was quite an experience. So we're looking forward to that coming back. It's arriving, I think, on June 20th, and it's staying for 4 days. I think I'd have to look at my material. Again, we're trying to fundraise, and I will mention the breakfast. I wasn't quite prepared to do that, but we do have a fundraising breakfast that's coming up to get the wall here, and that fundraising breakfast is going to be on the Stockton Hilton on March 29th. And by the way, that's a National Vietnam Veteran Remembrance Day, and so they're going to have a breakfast. You can get a table. You can sponsor a table for $600, a reserve table. I think it's a table of 10, or the tickets are $50 each. So at this point in time, that's what we're trying to do is get those tables sponsored. And I would love to. Shall I bring this? Okay.
Yeah, bring it up.
When I was talking to my friends on Facebook, I'm actually a graduate of the AA Stag class of 1967. Yay, Stag High School. And so I was talking to them on Facebook, and they know how involved we are in ALA, and I am in ALA and veterans, and recognizing our deceased students who passed away in Vietnam. So I was mentioning this to them, and they were very excited about getting a table sponsored by the AA Stag High Class 1967. So they want to sponsor a table of 10 of us from Stag High School. So what we want to do is make that challenge to all of the high schools in San Joaquin County, possibly even just Stockton, but try to get a group together, because we were at the height of the Vietnam War. 1967, from 63 maybe to 69, and it's a wonderful way to recognize your fellow student who you graduated with, who died in Vietnam and gave up his life for our country and our freedom. Right. We like to, it's kind of emotional. We like to challenge all the other high schools in Stockton, California, Edison, Franklin, Lincoln, Stagg. Am I leaving anybody out? St. Mary's High School. Get a group of people together to sponsor a table. A table of 10 will cost you $600, and some recognition for your veterans that you lost during the Vietnam War. And please try to consider doing that. And more information can be found. I'm not sure where they need to look. Where calling here? Can they call here or call the post?
Well, they can get in touch with me through the phone number that is on the that's scrolling on the bottom of the screen. Yeah.
Okay, great. Good. Or you can also call the Carl Ross Post themselves again, and they'll know, and they'll have information and how you can purchase the tickets and to get that fundraiser breakfast going. We do need. It costs a lot to bring the Vietnam Moving Wall here, and the more so funding is real important to get that money in to get it here again, so you can have the experience.
Thank you for all that wonderful information. When you were talking about your class being the Vietnam class, well, the students in my class, graduate of 1962, we are the war babies.
Yeah,
I was born in 1944, so we were affected by World War II, and that is another idea. I'm sitting here thinking, oh my God, I've got to get in touch with all my classmates that here in Stockton. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
So great, very great. Thank you for that information.
You're very welcome.
Now our other guest here is Mary Adami, and she's going to talk about the Girls State program. Excuse me.
No, that's okay.
And our other guests will follow.
Okay. Thank you, Connie. Thank you for having us. It's great. My name is Mary Adami from the. I'm a member of the American Legion Auxiliary, Carl Ross Unit 16, and yearly we have a program called the Girls State Program, the California Girls State Program, and in September, we go to the teachers. Our committee goes to the teachers and counselors so they can pick 5 young ladies. They have to be juniors, so they're 16, 17-year-old. And they are selected by, the criteria is high academics, community service, and playing in sports, and also being on the clubs that they have in their school. But we really emphasize thinking out of the box, which is, of course, the community service. And we also select them if they have what aspirations they have, and if they're they are also, okay, now I'm stumped here. They also write a paragraph on. Maybe I should mention it.
No, don't tell them ahead of time.
Yeah, they have to write a paragraph about a very special subject, and we select them by that also.
And military background in the family.
And actually, the criteria isn't that they are that they belong to. They have a family member that's in the military. However, we do have scholarships, the Samsung program scholarship, and we still have to see if they qualify, and also they can be members, our junior members for the American Legion Auxiliary, the junior, for Carl Ross. And what else? The fee is about $425, but we have sponsors for them. And
now the fee, Mary, is for them to participate in this program
when they're selected.
When they're
after
selected.
they're selected.
And what does that fee pay for?
It pays for the Girl State program, which is 5 days in Claremont College. It's near Los Angeles. And it's going to be June the 20th to the 24th to the 29th. And it's they can go by bus or by plane. And if they go by plane, it's approximately $230 round trip. However, that's the total amount is $425, and that includes the registration, and it includes the trip. No, it doesn't include the airfare. Sorry. It also includes it gives back to the program,
right,
because there's going to be 520 young ladies that will be going to this session.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, and it's a once in a lifetime experience. And when the girls come back, they tell us about how overwhelmed they were, how excited they were. They make lifelong friends, and they've even visited each other in California. And they have a very full schedule. They keep them very busy. They have a talent show, and they have elections with the the Tories and Whigs. So they're also elected to an office, and it could be mayor, it could be a city council, a supervisor, and they have a lot of fun doing that.
Now, is this something that they put on? They're not
during
actually
the session
going to a city council or anything.
No.
They create their own city council, and
yes,
okay.
yes, it's part of the program. And they also, I don't know if I said, they have a talent show also. And
well, we have a young lady here that was a participant, and I'll let you, Mary, introduce her. You've given us so much information, and now let's see. With all that wonderful experiences that Mary's talked about, how it has affected one of our members here today, and I'll let Mary introduce you.
Okay, in 1 second here, because I want to give them the website to get all this information. Is CA for California, girlsstate.org. So it's CAGIRLSSTATE.org, and you'll be able to get more information. And we have another guest here. She's our fairly new member for the Ladies Auxiliary. And when she told us that she went to Girl State 30 years ago, we were so happy, and we jumped up and down, and we were so thrilled to have a Girl State citizen, and so she can tell us about her experiences. And actually, last year for Girl State, she did attend. She was one of the counselors, and she really enjoyed herself. But it is a lot of work, but it is so rewarding. Yes. Carrie Gallegos. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Connie, for having us.
Welcome. It's glad to have you here.
Well, yes, I am a fairly new American Legion Auxiliary Carl Ross Post or Unit 16 member. I actually joined last year, about 3 weeks before the 75th Girl State session started. So my goal was to get more involved with the ALA so I can give back to the Girl State program. As Mary mentioned, in 1988, which was 30 years ago, I was the Franklin High School from Stockton, California, delegate to Girl State.
Wonderful.
It was still a very vivid memory, because it was a very exemplary experience for me. As a student in high school and even getting to know the Girl State delegates from last session, the angst of being a teenager is still relatively the same. I know in high school, I felt like I was the only one that really cared about politics, at the level that I did. I'm also a proud daughter of a Vietnam veteran, so I was very hyper aware about veterans and veterans issues. Mm-hmm. So to be selected to go to Girl State, I found myself amongst 500 girls exactly like me, and it was such a refreshing experience.
Have been wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. I felt like, okay, I'm not alone. I'm not by myself. There's other girls like me, and it was a very refreshing experience that I didn't feel that I have to do above and beyond to prove myself, because we were all at the same level playing field as wonderful. Far as how we believed, issues we were involved in, issues we were passionate about. So at the very core in the beginning, that was my experience. Now, as we move along in the experience, in the Girl State experience, any Girl Stater could tell you this, it is very overwhelming. It is a jam-packed week of activities, learning the political process of how government operates at the very local level as well as the state level. So you are learning all these processes, you're learning all these intricacies of government. If you're not familiar with them already, it's very overwhelming, but it's also fun because you're doing it with people exactly like yourself. So you get to meet so many people, bond over issues, bond over commonalities that you have. And even the staff was very instrumental in shaping my attitude, because I wasn't as involved as I thought I should have been, but knowing that I had somebody that I could talk to about that was very refreshing. Galen knows who she is. And just as a neat little experience, 30 years later, I was able to reunite with my Girl State counselor from 1988, 30 years later at last year's session. So you never forget these experiences. And to this day, I'm friends with a lot of the Girl State, my fellow sisters from my city of Burbank. And now my new little sisters from last year's session as I returned as a city mom. So being on the staff is a total different experience, but it is very much the same as I remember it 30 years ago.
Now, you said that you were on the staff as a city mom.
As a city mom. So every city.
Explain that?
So Girl State is a program where they divide over 500 girls into cities. There are mock cities, and then the cities form counties, and then the counties form the state of California, the mock state of California.
So this is an exercise that you're doing?
Yes, it's the entire program. We are immersing ourselves in a mock government. So the girls are divided into cities, and then the cities form counties, counties form the state. And every city has a staff. There's a counselor, an assistant counselor, and a city mom. So the city mom's responsibilities, and I like to always say it was support, supervision, and snacks. That's what we were responsible for. But, you have a lot of girls that this is their first experience away from home for an extended period of time. And some of them are very nervous. And we give the support just like a mom. And, sometimes I had to be a disciplinarian. And, it's teenage girls. Teenage girls do what teenage girls do, stay up very, very, very late. And that is our role. And we make sure the girls are safe on the campus. They are at Claremont McKenna University, College University in Claremont, California. And we make sure the girls are safe, make sure they have a great time. And it's very, very, as Mary has said, jam-packed. Our schedules are very full. And as we welcome the new delegates onto the campus, they're smiling, but they don't smile by the midweek. They're pretty tired. And then by the end, they're crying, tears of joy, or tears of happiness because they're finally leaving. But it is a very memorable experience.
Now, Carrie, can you think back those few years ago when you were there, your first experience there? What was something that was the most really impacted you?
The fact that there were, I believe, half of my city were student body presidents. Half of the girls in my city were student body presidents.
At their high schools?
At their high school.
At their
And
high
I was
schools,
one
okay.
as well. So I felt like these girls know what I will go through, and they know what I've gone through as far as trying to do everything you feel you want to do for your community. And at that time, as a teenager, for your school. And
now, did they, in this project, did they give you any example of what your city is like?
No, it's a fictitious city.
And do you create, as team members, do you create your own issues of your city?
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
Okay.
So what happens is every city is divided, and now in that time, it was equal number of Whig Party and Tory Party. So those are the political parties. So
And that goes clear back to
oh,
colonial
yes,
days.
they chose very wisely when they picked those words to describe it. So you had a political party, and based on your political party, you would formulate laws, you would formulate, legislation, and people would run for different state level offices based on, their party, whoever their party chose.
Would you be giving a political speech?
Yes,
to
absolutely. It
vote
is
for me type of thing?
absolutely.
Okay.
It is a true representation of the political system. So however we see it in reality, Girl State is a direct replica of that. And there's even arguments. There, debates, we call them. They're debates, very passionate debates. But, the youth of today are very hyper aware of issues, being that we are in a completely different, from when I was a teenager, completely different social space as far as communication and information. So these girls come and they are very passionate about their beliefs. They are very passionate about what they want to contribute to the program, as well as when they leave the program to their high schools and their local communities. So, state of California is very lucky to have these 511 girls come back into their communities because they are an exceptional group of girls.
I would imagine so. I could think back if I was in this program like when 1960, 1961, when we didn't really have too much privileges of really speaking our minds. Right. We were basically, leave it to Beaver kind of community, and if you remember that show, some of you might not remember Leave It to Beaver.
I remember. I watched it.
I'm giving my age, but that's okay. But as you were talking, I could see that probably every year of this program, there would be so many different issues, political issues. And if you had one back in 1960 or 61, where I know with our students, we were not involved that much into politics. We did have our president and so forth, the high school, but we were not taught very much, and we really didn't have the okay to think for ourselves and have these opinions and ideas, and I think this is absolutely thrilling to hear that 30 years ago of what you were experiencing, because kids are having a broader experience now than
absolutely.
we did years ago. And so when you have you participated in any other ones before this one now that you're going back to as a city mom?
Well, life takes its course, and we kind of focus our attention on other things that we want to accomplish. So the Girl State program was always in the back of my mind of something I wanted to contribute to. Being that I was, working a lot, I was pursuing my education, I was, working on building my own business, I kind of put that on the back burner. But I had recently retired from a career in law enforcement community at San Joaquin County. And I knew once I retired, I was like, that's it. I'm going back to Girl State somehow, you know. So, you know, because it's a commitment. And Girl State program is completely run by volunteers. And they are all American Legion Auxiliary members. Okay. So it's a big commitment to ask of, you know, women, especially if they have families or they have full-time jobs. It's hard to, you know, walk away for 6-7 days to commit yourself to this program. And there's a lot of women who do it. And it you know, kudos to them, because it's my first experience being a city mom, I was like, oh my goodness, this is a lot. But they get it accomplished. So I knew once, you know, I was into my retirement and I had free time, I was like, well, my time's no longer free, because now I'm dedicating it to other things that I want to pursue in my community, and especially with the Girl State program and the ALA.
Oh, well, that's very commendable. Very commendable.
Thank you.
Now, I have a question that I wanted to ask you also is, out of all, if you could remember, out of all that you learned during that period of time when you were there, what seemed to be the biggest impact on you that may have continued to lead you into the wonderful career that you've had?
I think it was the feeling of camaraderie, especially the mentorship from the ALA members who were the staff. That was the first time I ever really experienced an older woman as a mentor. Okay. And I think that the ALA, when we have such an incredible array of women from different backgrounds, different disciplines, different religions, that are servicing the veteran community and are also providing mentorship to these young girls during the program. And I think that's the most kind of impactful experience, because going into the program, you don't really know what your network is going to be like when you come back. Mm-hmm. And now that I see my network has grown, the resources I have available to me as a Girl State alumna is incredible. And, you know, it's hard to explain. And I've heard past delegates, you know, my young sisters talk, you know, you don't really understand unless you've been there. And it's true. You don't really understand right. unless you've gone through the experience. But the experience that had the most impact was the mentorship from these ladies, just the wisdom, whether it be life wisdom or wisdom of, you know, little nuggets of wisdom that they could give you about, you know, relationships, about life, about work, about, you know, struggles of being a woman and growing up in a different era. And I want to give that back to younger people, because the world is changing so quickly.
Oh, definitely.
And, you know, to say I was a Girl Stater in 1988 seems like ancient times to these young girls. Yes. And things have really changed since then. And just to provide just a clear picture of the support that they have within the Girl State Alumni Network, so they can understand they're not by themselves. You know, whatever they want to achieve, it's achievable, and we can do it as a team.
Well, what impresses me the most is the qualifications for the girls to be able to yes. participate. And they've already developed some awfully wonderful yes. characteristics of their own self. And then going there and having all of the experiences that you're talking about, and when you talked about the mentorship, how many of our kids, all of us have got kids, how many of our kids actually listen or show that they're listening to us
right.
as an adult? But I can feel exactly what you're talking about, being a mentor where somebody listens.
Yes.
I had that through my years of counseling work too. And when you're talking about that, it reminded me of some of my own personal experiences where I basically was counseling, being a mentor or whatever. and the different attitudes of people having. But when you get a group of young ladies that have to meet the same qualifications, and like you say, here I am, I've got people I can talk to, I'm not alone.
Correct.
That's a wonderful experience.
It is.
Oh my gosh.
It's a very refreshing experience. Like I said, to be among 500 other young women your own age who are doing the exact same things. A lot of the girls are overachievers. It's very competitive. I'm not going to lie and say it's a walk in the park, but it's very competitive. And but the girls know, at the end of it, when you go home, you're going home with a network of friends who understand you, who are rooting for your success, and a network of mentors that you can draw information and wisdom from. And that's really invaluable. Right. And to be selected is quite an honor. I always considered it one of my highest honors, up to date. But to give back is probably exceeds that honor, right, in being selected.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wonderful. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Having you here as someone who has experienced the whole program and has successfully led your life where you had a business and you retired and you've been very successful, and now you want to continue to give back. That's wonderful. I mean, God, Moses, not many people have that experience. And I think what the American Legion is doing, the auxiliary is doing here with this program, is absolutely fantastic. I mean,
yes.
Look at all the wonderful. If there's 500 a year, right? 500 a year go.
Yes, we would love to have more.
And you just think 500 young women learning to think and network and learn the politics and many of the things that you must have learned at this. Going back to school, they're going to share these, and
yes,
it's just
absolutely.
like it's like one of those trees that grow new branches and new branches and new branches, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. And then 500 next year, and 500 next year. The impact that these young women can give to other young women and be an example for young men too.
Yes.
This is absolutely wonderful. And then also being that it's associated with veterans.
Yes.
And giving more respect to our veterans.
Yes, and they do. The Girls Day program does integrate the awareness of veterans. I know prior to going to the session, the girls are to select a veteran either in their family or a veteran that they admire, and they are issued a button to honor that veteran that they wear throughout the session.
Oh, my.
So my button had the picture of my father and with a blue star because my father was in combat in Vietnam. So I was designate as a Blue Star girl. Wonderful. And it allowed me just as a glance, I can tell who were the other Blue Star girls. And it's so incredibly, it's just a weird experience to know that at my age, other girls have the same experience with their veteran that I had with my father. Bonding. So it's really, it's kind of emotional for me. I'm sorry, but
yeah, right. Yeah,
I feel you.
Yeah, I feel it myself.
And then you go back to the mentorship. I can have an opportunity to mentor somebody who went through the same things that I went through. So there is awareness for veterans during the Girls' Day program, which I think is paramount because that is one of the missions of the ALA.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Just to throw, in this day and age, into this year 2019, the year of the woman, last couple of years, these women's marches, the empowerment of women has been taking over, everywhere, all over the world, I have to say. It's not just here in California, it's everywhere. And so women helping women, the American Legion Auxiliary consisting of women, and having a program like Carrie has described, and even back to 1988, she and her other peers have laid down a strong foundation for the next year by year group of girls that are coming through, young ladies that are future leaders that are coming, and are coming along in America. So I'm just glad that you had such a great experience and that you're able to discuss that today with us, because we heard a lot, even though we've been involved with it. To hear your introspect and your experience has been wonderful. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I always want to describe my experience, because I believe there's still, Girl State is still kind of that hidden gem of a program.
Right.
I don't think a lot of high school girls know about it, and to bring an awareness that yes, it does, it's here, it exists. We've been around for 75 years, and to know that there's an opportunity for them to have an experience that will change their life and change the trajectory of their life. So that's what that would be one of my goals, is to make sure that, you know, the Girl State program is more visible.
Yes.
And that people are aware of it. And, you know, to put on this program is no small feat, especially in the forms of finance. So whenever you see an opportunity to donate to the Girl State program, especially our fundraiser for the Girl State Breakfast, we encourage, you know, everyone to support. We are supporting our delegates and the future of our community. Mm-hmm. So, and it's very important mission, and I invite everyone to come to the Girl State Breakfast and
I think
show
Mary's
your support.
got all the information
Yes.
there.
And there's also a Facebook page for our unit.
Oh, yes.
And it's, if you go on Facebook, it's ALA Carl Ross Unit 16. You can put that into the search bar of Facebook. It will come to our public page, and we post, that's where we post a lot of our events.
And you said Carl Ross
Unit 16,
Okay,
and Carl
Unit
is spelled with a K.
16.org. Or
Oh, you just put that into the search bar,
in the search bar.
of Facebook,
And it'll go
and
right
it'll
to
take
it.
you directly to our page. We post a lot of the announcements of our fundraisers. We post different activities that we're involved in, things that are going on in the community that service the veterans and their families. And for the Girl State Breakfast, there's a link where you can buy your tickets to the Girl State Breakfast online through Eventbrite. So it's all accessible online, and we'd love to have the support of women in our community, especially women who are in leadership positions,
Right.
and small business owners. Please come out and support these girls. Like I said, these are the girls of our future, of our community, even globally. So it's good to show that they have a strong network and support
Right.
system behind them before they go to this incredible program.
Well, Carrie, I want to thank you for sharing your information.
Thank you for allowing
I mean,
me to share.
we're all sitting here, us women, they're sitting here, you know, feeling exactly what you're feeling and have felt in your experience, and it's wonderful that you share with us.
Thank you.
Now, I think that Mary Alt has some more information to give to us. Mary Adami, excuse
No,
me.
that's okay.
I
just-
belong to the Women's Auxiliary
Auxiliary
too,
also.
and we got a lot of Marys in our
Oh,
unit.
yeah, we do.
Thank you, Carrie and Connie. Just briefly, in all 50 states, there's 16,000 Girl State annually that attend Girl State. 16,000.
16,000.
Yes,
Oh, my
and
gosh.
of the 50 states. And also, here in Stockton, we had a girl. I just want to say that Girl State citizens, they go on to be leaders in the community and in the state and nation. We have a major in the military, generals that are females that went to Girl State. They're senators. They're Miss Americas. Also, here in Stockton, we have Christina Fagazi. She's our city council lady. She was a Girl Stater.
Oh, my,
yeah, Girl
yes.
State citizen years back. And also our mayor, Gary Podesto. Of course, he was in Boy State, our former mayor. And there's assemblywomen. And actually, one of our members from the Ladies Auxiliary, Nancy Park Brown, she was national president, and she came from a military family, and she's been a member for over 70 years. And she was
a member of
the Ladies Auxiliary.
Okay.
I'm sorry. And so she was national president of the Ladies Auxiliary, yes, some years back, not very long ago. And so we do have people locally. And right now I'm researching my former Girl State citizens to see what kind of career they have and what they're doing what they're doing now at present. Yeah.
So it's always very interesting to find out an experience like Carrie has had, like I asked, what impact it had on you for your future. And I think myself, I would think that almost all the women, the young women attending such a wonderful event would become leaders in their community or in the business they go into or whatever.
Definitely.
Because they've got that already built into them.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. And, not all 500 girls are going to pursue a career in politics, but all of them are very talented in their own way.
Right.
So it was very important for me to express to the girls that, were my daughters during that week. It's don't measure your success based on what other people's perception of success is. Success is very subjective, and you have to pursue success, what's going to make you personally happy. And if it's a talent, if it's something that you want to pursue away from politics, then that's what you should pursue. Right. And if you go on YouTube, there's several girls from last session, the 75th session, who have made their own YouTube compilations of the session that was last summer. And you can already tell, these young girls are going to be either YouTubers or they're going to be some kind of celebrity in some sense, but they all mention the incredible experience that they had. And that's what we have to do. We have to foster that sense of sisterhood to take these girls to the next level.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And now we're almost to the end of our show today, and I would like Mary to talk about the upcoming event for a fundraiser.
Yes, our fundraiser for the California Girls State is going to be Sunday, February the 24th, which is next month, of course, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and it's going to be in Stockton at the Carl Ross Post 16, 2020 Plymouth Road, Stockton, California. And you can call me for tickets, 209-482-5707, or better yet, you can go on the Facebook. And let's see, the cost is $10 a person. If you're unable to attend, please donate. And like I say, it's a breakfast, and here's the menu: scrambled eggs, sausage, hash browns, pancakes, coffee, and fruit, and coffee and juice. Already said that. And thank you so much for your support for our future leaders. And bring a family member. And actually, Victor Tolentino, he's gonna play music. He's very, very good. He plays the music on the spot, easy listening music, but he plays all different kinds of music. It's Victor and Company.
We're going to request he play a couple of Girl State songs. So if you are a former Girl Stater, you come out and chat with me, because that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring the spirit of Girl State to the Girl State breakfast.
All right. Guaranteed. That's true. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, ladies, for being here today. I am proud to be part of the auxiliary too, even though I'm also part of the Lions. I'm like you are, give back to the community. That's very, very important to me. And I am with the auxiliary through my father. He just passed away. He was 98 years old, World War II veteran. And so I was very proud of his short time in the military, but he did a good job, like the rest of our men do. And so I want to thank you, girls.
Thank you, Connie.
For being here with me, my sisters. We are all sisters.
Yes, we are.
And You just had such a wonderful experience. My God, we
Yes,
just sit
thank
down and talk and learn from you. You know?
Well, anytime you want me back, I will be honored to come back and talk
I
with
would
you,
love to
Connie.
have you come back and talk more about this because this is a wonderful program.
Yes,
Wonderful.
it is.
So I think that we're going to be winding down here now, and I want you to please be with me next week on Lions We Serve Live at 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock here in Stockton, California. So thank you. Now.